How do you feel? This is a glacier lake. All of this is from that ice.
Yeah, I'd believe it.
Our names are Mike and Heather. We're traveling the US in our van Appa on a mission to visit all 50 states. Subscribe and join us as we try to figure out this whole van life thing. As always, thanks for watching.
Close enough.
It is another beautiful day in Alaska. The sun is out. We woke up to a beautiful view of the Turnagain Arm. We're not too far away from Anchorage, but this morning we're heading into Hope.
We did not see the northern lights. It was a tad bit cloudy, and to be honest, we only checked one time because we were pretty tired from seeing them the night before. But again, we have woken up to this beautiful view, so it makes up for it for sure. We are slowly making our way back up the Kenai Peninsula, and on the way of doing that, we are going to be popping off at a couple little towns. The first one being Hope, Alaska today, which is needed to readjust the seat from where we slept, which is a gold mining town. It's a really well preserved gold mining town and one of the first ones in this area of Alaska. So I'm excited to go check that out. And then we are making our way to Whittier, Alaska, which is equally as interesting, but in a different way. You'll see. Also happy to report that the makeshift job of fixing the bed last night worked, so I think it's gonna be good, at least until it happens again. We have made it to Hope, Alaska, which is a small, quaint little town here, and I misspoke a little bit earlier. I said that it was one of the first gold rush towns. This was the place of the first gold rush in Alaska, so I have to give credit where credit's due. According to the helpful placard outside of the public bathrooms that we use, which were really great, the community maintains them for visitors, so very thankful for that. But outside of that, we learned
A history of the town. It talks about how Hope was the first gold rush town in Alaska until the gold rush in the Klondike happened, and then at that point everyone left to go to the Yukon. In its heyday, Hope had over 3,000 gold rushing settlers here in town. The local story on how the town got its name was that they would name the town after the next person who got off the boat, and as chance would have it, it was a 17-year-old Percy Hope, and that's how it became Hope, Alaska.
we are here in the off season, so unfortunately it looks like everything is closed up at this time because it is such a small town, but it's really cool to get a feel for what a historic gold mining town is like, because a lot of these buildings are original to that time period.
It really is kind of a step back in time because it hasn't changed much since the gold rush occurred, so it's still a very small Alaska type town that you would think of before you get here of what Alaska might be like, and it's absolutely placed in a beautiful location right on the Turnagain Arm. It's surrounded by mountains, which seems to be every Alaska town is just in a beautiful spot, but a lot of the buildings are still in use. There's RV campsites and stuff, so this small town definitely is popular as a tourist location.
We're already making a list of everything that we want to do when we come back to Alaska, maybe during the tourist time, and I think this has definitely made it.
As we're sort of walking down the main street of Hope, Alaska, looking at some of the signs, there's a sign in the window here of the Seaview Cafe that says closed Tuesday and Wednesday. Today is Tuesday, so they might not be completely closed for the season. It might just be that Tuesday and Wednesday are the days that most things in town are closed as their weekend.
So it's not because we're here in the off season, it's just because we're here on a day that it happens to be closed. Definitely we'll have to come back then. Just another reason why we have to come back to Hope, there's the world's greatest gift shop that we're missing out on because it's a Tuesday. So one day we'll go to the world's greatest gift shop. Congratulations, you've done it.
So we have left the paved roads as we made our way into Hope, and there are definitely a few potholes, but nothing you can't navigate, and because there's no traffic, we can kind of weave our way through.
We have driven to another part of historic Hope, and you can see the library. So the library is closed at the moment, but it looks like the bookstore is open, as well as another gift shop. So not the world famous gift shop or the world's best gift shop, but still a gift shop. So we're gonna go check it out.
Hello. Hi, how are you today? Hi. We stopped in at a gift shop and met the person who was there named Susan. She is the person who runs the library. So the library in Hope used to be the schoolhouse, and when a new school was built, she was able to convert it into a library, so she was able to get funding and grants and stuff like that to make it a suitable place. And now it's a great community area and is a very popular place in Hope for the locals. So such a great story and really an awesome library. She was kind enough to let us in and look around even though it was closed today.
Oh wow.
This is great. So thank you very much, Susan. This was such a great experience here in Hope.
One of the things that we're very fortunate as we travel is running into really kind people, and Susan definitely was that. We got to talking about their travels and ours, and it just makes these type of towns and experiences that more memorable. It did start raining here today, so I think this is gonna kind of put a wrap on exploring Hope at the moment, but we will be back eventually, and we are now going to head towards Whittier.
All right. Scenic driving now.
There is a life I lead in this city, hurrying to cut my teeth. I can take what I need to get by.
We're about 20 minutes away from Whittier now, and we are passing a glacier to our right, and the town of Whittier is actually surrounded by 3 different glaciers, so I think we're going to hike to at least one of them, and I'm very excited as we get closer. The blue skies, the scenery, everything is just amazing. Something that's very special about getting to the town of Whittier is the tunnel, and not the tunnel that we just went through, which is a really short one. We're talking about a tunnel that I believe is one of the longest ones in North America.
2 miles.
Yeah, it's 2 miles long.
Hi.
Hello, 13 please. And have you driven through before?
We have not.
Well, please make sure it's 25 miles per hour in the tunnel.
Okay.
Lights on. Do not stop unless it's an emergency. And you guys will be lining up on lane 1.
Lane 1? All right, thank you.
You guys have a great day.
Thanks, you too. Oh, look at there's the tunnel up ahead. So we are going through this mountain. We are waiting here in line at the Anton Anderson Memorial Tunnel. This is the only way that you can drive your car into Whittier, and you couldn't do that until the year 2000. Before that, it was just a train tunnel that was used to get goods from the port of Whittier up to Anchorage. It takes 6.5 minutes to drive through and is over 14,000 feet long. So it makes it the longest tunnel in North America. There is a set schedule for it. So it goes from the Portage side to Whittier on the half hour, and it goes from the Whittier side back out to here on the Portage side on the top of the hour. And it takes about 15 minutes for it to transition. So you have a 15-minute window from either the 30 mark or the hour mark to get through the tunnel, and then it has a 15-minute changeover. So it's all very strictly regulated. You have to pay a toll to come through the tunnel depending on your vehicle size.
Thankfully, our van is small, so we got the car rate, which is $13.
But this should be a lot of fun. It goes straight through Maynard Mountain, which is what we're looking at in front of us, into the town of Whittier.
When we drive through the tunnel, we're actually going to be driving over the railroad tracks because it still is an active railroad tunnel as well, so that's really cool. But 6.5 minutes is a long time, so I'm very curious to see what the inside of this tunnel looks like.
It is 2:27 now. We should be good to go at 2:30. We'll be the first line of vehicles entering the tunnel, so we won't be waiting too long. Oh, maybe we're the last ones to go through? So it looks like we're actually going to be the last ones to go through. There was a light that came on, the bar lifted up to let you know that this side of the tunnel was ready to go, and each of our lanes have traffic lights up over them to let you know when it's your turn to enter. It looks like their electronic traffic light system has spaced us all out. We should be nice and evenly spaced so there's not any bunching and no incidents as we go through the tunnel, but we are heading in right now, and there's the train tracks. This is kind of intense.
It's a lot more narrow than I would have thought, but I guess that makes sense because this did just start off as a railroad track, and it's a 1-lane road all the way there.
It's weird driving over the railroad tracks because it kind of wants to pull you. I'm gonna see if I can get just to the side of it so we aren't getting moved around by them. That's a little bit better. It's really interesting to see all of the exposed rock on the wall and to know that this was just through a mountain. There's not really any finishing or anything like that. Everything is built into this tunnel. Here we go.
6.5 minutes later, we have made it through the tunnel. We took the first right immediately after the tunnel for the Portage Pass Trailhead. You can actually see the tunnel that we just went through, the little entrance as we were pulling into this little parking lot area. And now we're gonna get out and go for a hike to the Portage Glacier.
We've got about a 2-mile hike out to the glacier and then back. It'll probably take us about 3 hours to do because it'll be 4 miles round trip. There's only about 750 feet of elevation gain, which is similar to what we did on our first hike here in Palmer to the top of the butte. It should be a lot of fun. I think we're gonna get some amazing views of the glacier, and I'm really excited to get to it. I'm gonna put on my lighter weight sweatshirt. We are now officially on the Portage Pass Trail. You can hike up to the pass, which is a mile, or continue on that next mile for 2 miles out to the lake, which is what we're doing today. The trail is rated as moderate. It'll be a nice hike for this afternoon.
We are bear aware. We have our bear spray because we are in Alaska after all. So hopefully we don't come across them, but after going to Katmai National Park, graduating from bear school, I think we got this whole bear aware thing down.
The trail guide said the first 3/4 of a mile was the steep section where you get a lot of that elevation gain, but after that it flattens out some. We're on that steep part now. We're huffing and puffing a little bit, but once we get to the top of this area, it should be nice and flat and a nice walk as we get ourselves closer to the glacier.
Layers and tears have been shed. Just kidding, it's actually not that bad, but we definitely took off a few layers because it is beautiful out here, and we're stopping, not because we're out of breath, but to look behind us at that view.
Oh wow.
We made it to Portage Pass, and you can see the Portage Glacier right behind us, but this only means that we're halfway because we are hiking down to the lake to see the glacier lake as well.
An image from a dream kept me up all night. The feeling is surreal, stuck inside my mind.
Step down on the mountain.
Your body in my arms under moonlit skies.
We are now making our way downhill towards Portage Lake and the Portage Glacier. In some of the steep spots, the footing is a little bit tricky, but really not too bad overall. It's definitely a popular trail. There's been a lot of people out on it. Not hard to see why with how beautiful everything is, and you can't beat the weather for today. The last couple days with how sunny it's been, we've been hearing from everyone, people visiting, Native Alaskans. Everyone is just commenting on how beautiful it's been and just soaking in the sun.
Off in the distance, we're not at the lake yet, you can see the runoff from the glacier. So much water's coming off of it. It's so quiet out here that if you stop talking, you can hear the water runoff from the glaciers. That's not wind, that's water from the glacier runoff.
I don't wanna wait, travel far away.
Our first real view of Portage Lake. It's down there, Portage Glacier just above it, and it is stunning.
Come on, tag along. Come on, tag along. Come on, tag along.
There's the lake.
So we made it to the glacial lake, and we have this entire beach to ourselves. We're the only people here, and it is absolutely breathtaking.
We actually hiked around where the tunnel goes through, back to the side of the mountain that we started on, which we can see the visitor center. We can also see where the cars would go through that first little tunnel before we made it to the Anton Anderson one. So we are now right over at the Portage Glacier. This is Portage Lake, and it is amazing.
There is a piece of the glacier that broke off, and it's just right there. I mean, how cool is that?
I was hoping that it would be a nice spot for a swim because it's a glacial lake, and I thought that would be really cool. and this is a nice beach area, so I think I'm gonna take a dip.
Woo! Cold?
Yeah, and it got deep. That was cold. Probably the coldest water I think I've swim in.
Usually I chicken out of cold water swims because I hate being cold, but I broke up quite a sweat on the trailhead. I didn't pack my bathing suit like Mike, but I am wearing a sports bra, which is basically like the same thing, right? When in Alaska though, right? That's as good as it's gonna get.
How do you feel? This is a glacier lake. All of this is from that ice.
Yeah, I'd believe it.
I brought my swim stuff because I knew if we were going to be able to do it, I wanted to do it.
And I was like, no way I'm gonna want to do it.
So mad props to Heather. She took my swim trunks, dove in, swam in a glacier lake, sat in, but it worked. So that is awesome.
Made it back to our van, and yes, we did get quite sweaty once more going up that mountain. I don't even know if it's a mountain, but it felt like a mountain. Up the hill.
It's next to a mountain. There's the train.
Oh, that's cool.
So that's the train that goes through the same tunnel that we did.
We are coming into the town of Whittier. Now, it is a very small town. The quirky or unique thing about this town is that there's only about 200 residents, and they all live in that apartment building behind us. That building also has the hospital, the post office, and several other buildings. So all of them live in the Hodge building. This building in this town went viral after one of its residents made a TikTok about it. So now it's kind of just a quirky thing to come and see. But the town of Whittier has a long history of being a military port. That building used to be a military barracks where everybody is living out of now. So they repurposed it into an apartment building, and that's where all of its residents now live. There is an abandoned barracks just down the road to the right as well, so you can kind of see what would have happened to the buildings if it wasn't upkept into the apartment building that it is now. Whittier also served as a secret World War II supply station to troops here in Alaska. So it does have a really unique history on top of the novelty of all of its residents still living in one place, like they would have done in the Buckner building, because that was once known as the city under one roof as well when it was first built for all of the military people who lived there. So I think we're gonna explore this little area and then head back out and search for a shower.
This is like the end of the run. We're going back through the tunnel now, completely on our own. It is 7:12 and the Whittier side goes on the top of the hour. So I was under the impression that you had until 7:15 and that was when you had to be done. But here we are with, I guess, 3 minutes before the changeover stuff starts to happen. And we are making our way through at 25 miles an hour. It is us, and it looks like the actual workers behind us that are bringing up the rear. So we are driving the tunnel with nothing in front of us, and it is a long tunnel. Wow. Look at this though. Wow.
Like that, we're out of the tunnel.
And we're back on this side of, I guess, everything. It kind of was like that side and then all of the rest of Alaska on this side of the tunnel.
So we got to explore 2 really cool towns today, and now we are on our way to hopefully find a shower, or at the very least a place where we can get one tomorrow morning because we need one. We are leaving Whittier and there is a bear in the road. Oh, he's running.
I thought that was a big dog.
I knew it was a bear.
I thought it was someone's Newfoundland had gotten off the leash.
We're in Alaska, it's obviously a bear. We were coming around the corner, we're like, bear, bear, bear. That was too
It was
cool.
just walking alongside the road, so that was a pretty decent sized black bear it looked like. I was like, someone's Newfoundland is on the side of the road. Why is it there? And Heather's like, it's a bear! I think we came up on him a little bit quick. He darted over, but we do have some traffic behind us and we didn't want to...
Well, you're not supposed to stop if you see him on the side of the road, but
yeah.
We saw a bear.
So we have found something that is probably better in a way than a campsite. We're always going to sleep in our car, but we found a shower for free at a Planet Fitness, which is something we haven't seen for a few weeks now. It's the only one in Anchorage, but we have found it, and that's where we're getting our showers tonight.
Free is always good. We're gonna get our shower bags ready and run inside.
So we are all showered. We've gone a few days without a shower, so we're feeling much better.
Now we are in the Planet Fitness parking lot with a pizza. You're actually sitting on a pizza now because we figured while we're near civilization, we can splurge a little bit and order ourselves some food, since we also worked out by going on the hike. So it all evens out in the end. We thoroughly enjoyed the Kenai Peninsula and we're a little bit sad to officially leave it here today, but we're so excited for the rest of what we have in store here in Alaska.
Tomorrow starts the next part of our Alaska journey as we leave the Kenai Peninsula and start heading more inland. So we've got a lot more adventures to do and we're excited to share them with you as we head further north in Alaska. We hope that you'll join us for the next one as we explore the Matanuska Glacier. Thanks, and we'll see you in the next one.